guys, it's me Matthew, of course, and in this video, I'm going to be mixing it up a little bit here. I also realized that it's 1 a.m. already, and I haven't recorded my videos yet, so I guess I'm only going to be recording this one, and we'll see how long it goes. It's already 1 a.m., I mean, if I go to 2 a.m., what much of a difference is it going to make? How much of a difference? What much? That's interesting. Anyways, before I get too far into this, I would like to thank my two members, God and Infinitum Gaming, for financially supporting this channel. If you're interested in also supporting this channel or just having your name read off, check the join button on either this video or my main channel page, or in the description, look for a Patreon link, and through either of those, you can become a member / supporter, and I will read your name off at the beginning of these videos, but I'll only do that for up to 25 names, because beyond 25, that just gets ridiculous. But if I even get to that point, I would be amazed. I'm already surprised that I have two. So thank you very much. Anyways, moving on. Oh, wait, before I move on from that, actually, the third tier on Patreon, and I think the fourth tier on the membership through YouTube, is a little special, and it is D&D related. It's also very expensive, which is mostly just, to support this channel, but also because it would be an absolute ton of work. But it's pretty much running a Dungeons & Dragons campaign for whoever buys it. Up to 6 people that I'd run a game for. I am a relatively new dungeon master, but I take a lot of my inspiration from Matthew Mercer, and I hope to be at least 1/100th of a DM that he is. So yeah, hopefully that encourages you a little bit, or makes you more confident, I suppose. Anyways, moving on. So this map that I've made, I have yet to name this world, but I decided to try my hand at a new program, Wonder Draft. This is just a trial run for me to see what it has and what it doesn't have, and if I want to commit to buying the full product. If, so far, it's looking really good. It's looking really promising, and I am definitely considering buying the full version of it. But for now, I will see what happens as I finish this map, and yeah, I'll see what happens. But so far, I started off by just generating a landmass using the landmass wizard. Let's see, I think I did with world generation for this one, but you could do continent, archipelago, atoll, or I don't know what that word is, equirectangular. I've never heard of that before, but that is an option. So I started by auto-generating the world, and then I decided to take my hand at sculpting it in different ways. Now I don't really have that much of a before. Maybe I can open one of the original backups. No, this wasn't that long ago. Well, it gives you some reference to what I did, but very little. This is my latest backup, and that's as far back as it goes. So, oh well. But pretty much, it started with a small island right here. This land bridge didn't exist. I kind of just made a land bridge and then just went at it with the eraser, and I kind of liked it, so I kept it. I might add on to that, but I've just been trying to flesh out everything. I started with this area. Added some lakes, lots of thick jungle. I made a small city, port city here, although this is something I recently put in. once I decided I was okay with most of the continents, I decided to put where all the major ports would be, and I tried to find locations that made sense. Speaking of which, I need to move this. Although I suppose this is just a port city, so the main docks would be sheltered away within, as they should be if optional. Which this will be a port city, at least there will be a port there. Whether or not it's a city, we'll see. Might just be a small village with a small little dock. Here's a nice shelter area that I saw on the map, so I was like, why not? I added more to it to make it look a little less weird, because it looked like just a tumor, almost, so I decided to make it look like a very malignant tumor. And then this was all kind of boring, smooth, so I decided to do whatever the fuck God did to Norway. No, I don't believe in God. And yes, I'm an atheist, and I had to say that just like a vegan. I'm sorry. Anyways, I guess at one point Odin decided, fuck it, and just took a cheese grater to all the, northern half of Scandinavia and just fucked it right up. And that's what I decided to do over here in a very lazy, unintelligent way. I just kind of took the lower elevation or lower landmass tool and just kind of splotted through, and then I went through with the raised landmass, and then I just kept doing that until it looked like what I wanted it to look like. And most of the buildings around here I put in much later. I think Michael came up with the idea that the dwarfs would mostly take over this northern area, and that orcs would probably be out here in this more barren, rough terrain that I have yet to do anything with besides do that. Like, right when I started, I did that pretty much, and I haven't touched it since. But I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep that. This bay was here already, so I decided to put a river to it. I made a little lake here that drains into a bigger lake that drains out into the ocean, and I did pretty much the same thing multiple times throughout here. Whether or not it's, scientifically accurate or believable to how the world works is up to scientists, not me. So I want to make it somewhat believable, but it's still a fantasy world. Over here, I was going to give more of an Asian theme, so I did end up going with like a red maple forest. I did have another Asian influenced area over here. At first, I was just going to make it a cascading waterfall area or something. But then I saw this tree asset that I rarely used, and it kind of just fit for like an Asian theme, maybe Indonesian as well. I'm not sure. I don't know my geography, if you couldn't tell. Also, one thing I should mention if you didn't notice is the North and South Pole are tilted on this map. I didn't want to just do a flat snow across the top and across the bottom, because honestly that's a little boring. So instead, I went with a slight tilt, and well, it's actually quite a major tilt. So all of this is kind of in the equator right here. I didn't tilt it exactly because honestly, I just kind of put things where it felt like putting them. I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, okay, this makes sense for like a plains area. That would be a nice swamp right there, because why not? And then Michael gave me the idea of the Mississippi River, sort of, so I tried to recreate just a large river that flowed and was fed into by crap tons of others that eventually just led to floodplains. And yes, now there's a marshland here. This was the first city that I made. I had to remake it like almost immediately after I made it, but it looks almost the same. I realized a little too late just how fucking massive that city would be, so I might end up going back and making it much smaller and tucking it away on like this peninsula right here or something, or maybe this will be like the mega powerhouse country power of the world. I don't fucking know. I'm just throwing in words, hoping that some of them stick and make sense. This is just supposed to be a port city. I think I already went over that a little bit. And then recently I did try going in and putting roads throughout everything. I guess it didn't save. It didn't save all the roads that I put around here. Discard changes, I guess. That was at 11:04. This should be the right one, but the roads are missing. I had a lot of roads interconnecting all of this, and most of these stayed. Most of them stayed over here, but none of them stayed over here. Weird. I'm gonna have to work on that. But since I've kind of went over a lot of this map, I think I can go on to editing it some more live. This is one thing that me and Michael were gonna try to record together, but it didn't really work out because the way that we were trying to do it was kind of like a podcast where I was making a map, he was on World Anvil, we were going to try to work together, and we just had no idea, no direction of what to do, where to go. I was using Incarnate, so I decided to try out Wonder Draft and just go out on my own to get like a basic idea, and then I just got carried away and we didn't record or anything like that, so here we are. And I just noticed there's a couple of trees sitting on a cloud over here. Alright then, I don't know if I deleted it or what, but it's gone. Alright. This is going to be the other major city of the world, but there will be a few rather large ones here and there. I'm not sure what I have over here. I think Michael was mentioning he wanted me to make an underground map. I have no idea how to even begin with that, but that might be something that I could attempt to do, and he wanted to put drow in this area, and that might just work. I'm pretty much done with this too. It's supposed to be rather barren, kind of like wastelandish, and I don't know, I put that castle there because I thought it fit. Those are supposed to be volcanoes. Active or not, I don't know yet. I'm just fucking around, having fun, designing a map. This is my second map I've ever made. I don't know if I can easily find the other one, but if I can, let's see here. It would be in D&D stuff, wouldn't it? D&D. Oh, I did make a smaller one. But here is Ostark. This was my first attempt at making a map on Incarnate. I really had no idea what I was doing. I was just having fun. I still don't know how. I still don't know how. Yeah, I suppose that worked. I still don't know how to do this properly, but I've been having a lot of fun, and so far no one's really complained about anything other than me having to explain that I tilted the axis. I did post this on a Dungeons and Dragons subreddit to try to get some feedback. And I also made this for one of my players for that campaign. He was an orc, and that campaign is actually still going on. I still have his little 3D model he sent me of Gorg, the orc barbarian, no, orc fighter. He's an orc fighter. But yeah, he was part of the Broken Teeth clan. That's what he decided to name it. So I decided to have a little bit of fun with it, and I made some like weird orc teeth. I don't know. But I had a lot of fun with that, and I really like the look of it. So yeah, that's my map experience so far. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun. Let's see here. What area do I want to give attention to the most? Maybe I can go for the first very uncivilized area. Massive bridge. That's the reason that there's no bridges. That's as small as these bridge assets get. So I'm gonna use paths for that. Let's see here. I could put like ruins, or I could put the same city buildings that I have been. My cat's making weird noises. Alright. I could have like a cave mine entrance sort of thing. I don't really know where to put that. Nope, that doesn't really work. Actually, I think I can tilt it, but that doesn't really work now, does it? So, let's reset that. Maybe I can do something like this. That doesn't look terrible. So, maybe I could have, well, Stonehenge. Don't really need Stonehenge in my map. That would be pointless. I could have like an ancient ruins kind of thing up here. I don't know if I can just kind of make it not look like Stonehenge. No, I already have one of those. There aren't a ton of assets, so I have to kind of just make do with what I have. So maybe I could just get away with, well, that doesn't work. Something kind of like this. And just say that it's an ancient civilization that was wiped out, I guess, by the orcs, maybe. Who knows? And the orcs, being orcs, they weren't too interested in taking over the city. They just wanted what was in it. So they mostly live underneath. That would also imply that this is, it's very barren. There isn't much here. Probably put some grass here and there. This is supposed to be a deserty plateau kind of situation. But I don't really know off the top of my head any deserty plateaus. So maybe I'll have to look that up and Google it and get an idea of what they would what would be there might be a little bit too much life for a deserty plateau, but it's something. Let's take the brushing tool. I haven't really done too much shading around these parts. So I definitely want a very sandy coast for this one. See, that's not gonna get all right, is it? I guess what I could do is, oh, I don't know if I like that. Kind of. I don't really know what the explanation for this would be either, but I don't tend to think that through too much because I'm sure there's something that I could come up with when I'm more creative in mind, and that's the little sound that the program makes. But since there isn't any sound to really put in this other than my microphone, probably won't even have that on. I could just say that it's like some serious erosion, but it would make a little bit more sense if I had more steep cliffs in this area. Let's see if I can just kind of, whoops, not the eraser tool. Kind of make it spider out just a little bit. And then I can go in with something else after I go into symbols and see what I can do in regards to making this seem a little bit more elevated on this side. Might have to erase a lot of the trees. I'll just get rid of all the foliage and add some afterwards. That's interesting. I don't hate that actually. What could I do here? That doesn't make sense. Not that any of this makes sense. I don't really know why this would be protruding like this. But I could just say that it was sea damage for the most part. What I could do is I could get rid of this back drop and make it more of like a, this whole land is elevated and this is just eroding away at the edge. But this is a little bit more interesting. And I gotta say, I'm a fan of more interesting. Layers within layers. Not a terrible touch. Actually, I like this. Maybe I could do something like that. It doesn't really make any sense, but it doesn't have to. It just needs to look pretty and interesting and pretty interesting. Yeah, I like that. Maybe it's a little too much, but when does that ever stop me? Land, let's try to just add an actual coast here, then remove this. So just take an eraser, and then paint on what I want. And then this might go out a little bit more. That could be a delta of sorts, but I don't know where the water would come from. Maybe an underground source. Maybe that's why the orcs came out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I suppose if it gets too far away from that, then it doesn't make sense, huh? It's a little finicky to work around these things, but limitations do inspire creativity. No, that's a little bit too much. Something like this. Kind of maybe make arcs, kind of like that, maybe. And then just add in some now. I'm not sure what to do here. I don't really know off the top of my head what an eroded coastline like that would look like. I have some ideas. Well, maybe this would actually work. Maybe some kind of sandbar situation. Actually, how about this? I could, whoops, try and do a little bit of magic here, kind of like what I did with the swamp, and take the water tool, just kind of do this. I watched a video on how to do this. I didn't come up with this. Let's erase the water. I don't want it. And then take the land tool. Yep, that didn't really work over there. So you're gonna go back with the water. Gonna do, it's gotta fade away and cut off at some point. Maybe it can come back. Yeah, I can end up doing a lot more of this coast that way. This is a lot of work I'm getting myself into right here. Alright, land. No, that's not, I can't undo what I did. This is a little bit more difficult than I remembered. Just wanted to make a very simple coast that wasn't too smooth, that kind of made sense. More rough over here. Something like that, maybe. And just kind of smooth it out. I need to get rid of this weird line out here. I'm not sure what's causing that line. is that really just, that's weird. Oh, that's why. Is that why? I guess it is. Alright, so if I want to make that coastline go out a little bit more, I can just do that. I see, I see. So I just kind of want to get an idea. Forgot how it worked, but now I have an idea of how it works again. And coastline might be a little too nice. Something like that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's draw with land a little bit more around that. And then actually erase the land halfway through all of it. Wait, no, is that not what I wanted to do? That's what I wanted to do. Alright, lower the terrain. That's not getting rid of the barrier. How did I get rid of the barrier before? I don't know. I'm really fucking this up, aren't I? Let's just forget I did that and just try to brush back all this coast. Oh boy, I need to figure out how to make it a little bit more rough. And what I want to do over here. You know, I didn't really have too much of an idea going in. I just was like, man, why not try this? So that doesn't get rid of the barrier, but the barrier's gone right there. What makes that different from that? I have no clue. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's because I use the land paint tool. So if I don't use the land paint tool and instead I use the raise elevation tool, then it should just sink below, theoretically. I think that's how this works. I'm not sure. So let's try this one more time. There we go. Delete the water where I don't want it. Maybe a little bit more up in here. Not too close. I'll figure that out. I want to focus on this. So let's do raise elevation. Let's increase the roughness. And just kind of splotch this up a bit. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. So, I guess what I can do is take the water lake tool. Yeah, maybe go a little bit further inland so I have more room to work with. Let's see what this looks like right now. If there was evidence of like a massive delta here, that would make more sense. But honestly, I feel like that was like a big mistake to change that. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go try to pull up an image of that map. Wrong page. Let's go over here. So beforehand, I had like a weird, almost like South America shape right here, maybe Africa shape, I'm not sure. Right there, and then I had like jagged bits right here, and then it kind of went up like that, and smoothed out right here. So let's see if I can just try to recreate that a little bit. It's a little too rough. Alright, that's a little bit better. Let's increase the roughness more here. And let's bring this out. And then try to make something similar to what I had. That's too much. Something like this. Still too much. And I want to get rid of some of this water back here. Get rid of that water there. Any extra water around here, just mop it all up. I like this a little bit. It's interesting. Land, let's reduce the land mass here a little bit. Well, that's kind of fucking it all up, isn't it? Maybe increase it. This is just where the sea really is tearing into the land because maybe the soil, the earth, the rock changes and it's more a limestone and easy to break down right there, and maybe I could make it more white to symbolize limestone just a little bit. That's a little too much, but I can take down the opacity, just kind of brush it down a little bit. Take in some sandy yellow. Keep whitening it up just a tad. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want this to be rather red. Why? I'm not entirely sure. I just kind of like it. I want to keep using red there. I'm not sure exactly how to explain all of this geologically, but hey, if you're a fucking geologist or something, let me know. Let me know what could possibly lead to the creation of this. If you know, then that's amazing. Because clearly, I don't know, this is just natural wonder. That's it. No explanation. I am God and I created it. That's the explanation. Alright, that's not bad. This video has gone on for long enough now, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.